The Chicago Bulls lose a game to the New Orleans Pelicans, in which the Pelicans basically led the entire game. The Chicago Bulls lose this game 143-30, and this may be the most embarrassing loss of the season yet. We're going to talk about it all and more right after this. What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, hey man, what the fuck? Like real talk. What the actual fuck was that, Chicago Bulls? Like I always say, I'm never just mad at a loss, but when you don't give any energy, that's where I get pissed off at. Now, there was no Vooch, no Isaac Okoro, no Kevin Huerter in this game, but when you look at this game, the New Orleans Pelicans outscored the Bulls 78-44 in the paint, 34 more points in the paint. 30 second chance points compared to only 8 for the Chicago Bulls. Killed them there. Bulls did win the fast break battle 19-17. We got outscored off the bench 51-41. Points off turnovers, they won that 23-19. This was just one of those games where you clearly saw a team that wanted it more. And that's just what this comes down to. And these are the losses that the Bulls have way too frequently, where they get outworked by teams that just wanted more than them. And at some point, you have to ask yourself, why are you consistently being outworked by teams? Now, the Bulls are still one game above 500. Cool. That's why every time, an easy stretch of the schedule, right? Because the Bulls are so inconsistent in their performance that they can lose to anybody, they can win against anyone. And that's just what it comes down to. This team doesn't have the heart of the other teams that they are competing against. And those type of things are it's hard to overcome that no matter how much skill you have. The Bulls were out-rebounded 55-33 today. 55. And keep in mind, this is not a team that has a lot more height. Against the Portland Trailblazers, it was different. They had several 7-footers out there that were giving the Bulls work. They're talking about Derek Queen, who started at center, who's 6'8", 6'9". You have Yves Missy as well, who's coming in. There's more legit size, right? But still, not a 7-footer, even though he has a 7-foot wingspan that outworked the Chicago Bulls. And that's just what this win came down to: heart, effort, and execution. And the Pelicans outworked the Bulls in every one of those categories. They play with more heart, they played with more effort, and they executed better down the stretch of this game than what the Chicago Bulls did. You're talking about a team in the Pelicans that scored at least 30 points in every single quarter today. 37 in the first, 37 in the second, 34 in the third, 35 in the fourth. And again, it goes back to that thing that we've talked about. The Bulls being such a bad first quarter and fourth quarter team continues to just hurt it. We settled for way too many threes today. We took 82 shots today. 50 of them were three-pointers. It would be different if you were hitting them at a crazy rate. You did end up with 40% from three, which isn't terrible, but at the end of the day, there is no reason why we should be taking 50 three-pointers when we had way more success when we actually decided to go to the paint. This team is lazy. That's what it is. They don't do the work to get to the rim, so they settle for these bad threes that are too far back, too early in the shot clock, and then you wind up with stuff like this. So, and no matter how this is still a team that I believe the talent on this team, but your talent is only as good as you execute and use that talent. And unfortunately, that's what it was today. They got outworked. When you look at the stat sheet, it was okay. Kobe had 24 points, going 7 of 15 from the field. Okay. I would assume the best player tonight, 28 points, 11 of 16 from the field. Josh Giddey had 21 points, 6 assists, 7 rebounds in this game, but 5 turnovers. And he went 6 of 12 from the field. But then when you start looking at the three-pointer, Kobe White, 3 of 10. And when you go back and look at this game, you'll see that so many of those threes were early in the shot clock. It's like he constantly thinks he has to do a heat check. Stop the fucking heat check, my boy. Stop that shit. You let a 2-win team come up and almost drop 150 on you. Easy, unanswered, 150 on you, like you were light work. If you watch this game and it told, and just based off the performance and heart that was played with today, somebody told you to pick which one of these teams was the team that only had 2 wins, there's no way that anybody would pick that the Pelicans were the team that only had 2 wins. Now, it's a little bit different. They had Zion back today. Zion had 29 points, easy on 14 shots. He got to the free throw line 16 times, solid. Trey Murphy's been doing what he does all season, 20 points, easy from him. You let Sadiq Bey drop 20 points on you as well. Rookie Jeremiah Fears, 15 points on your neck, right? And then you look at every player. They only played 4 players off the bench. They all got in double figures. 14 from Yves Missy with 13 rebounds. 16 from Jose Alvarado with 8 assists. Micah Perry, 10 points. Then you had Bryce McGowan's 11 points. You got outworked in every shape, form, or fashion. And this Bulls bench is really hurting not having Io on the bench. It is what it is. He's giving up really good numbers, so that is what it is. But this team just, it's disgusting, bro. It's disgusting. And that's why the title of this video is what it is. You can't be taken seriously if you deal with shit like this. You can't. You can't. So yeah, it's ridiculous, bro. And no, do not trade Kobe White. That's stupid. But you gotta look at this. This team missing the type of center that it needs is so glaring at this point. And that's no knock on Vooch. That's no knock on Jalen Smith. But you can clearly see where a more defensive-minded center that can also run the floor, because they have to be able to do that too, would drastically help this team's style of play. They need somebody that they can throw a lob up to, and we don't have that. We don't have that. Again, bad game. Overall, terrible game. Terrible game. There's just no ifs, ands, buts, excuses, nothing you can give this one. This was a terrible game of execution. It was a badly coached game. It was a badly executed game. It was a bad heart game, all of this. It was very, very, very bad in the way that this team performed today. And even the only player, and I'll say this, and I know this is going to piss off the Josh Giddey stands, not fans, the stands. I know that Giddey, Kobe, and Io all had really solid numbers today. But the only one of them that played good for the whole game. That was Io DeSumo. Kobe White was terrible, downright terrible in parts of this game. And Josh Giddey was so fucking timid at parts that I'm a little bit disappointed by how timid Josh Giddey was at points in this game. And he'll probably tell you that. That's not how Josh Giddey's played at any other point this season. It makes no sense why Josh Giddey was so timid in this type of game. And we saw glimpses of him being more aggressive, trying to get to the rim. But he just didn't do it consistently. This is where leadership comes in at. You have to have somebody who's going to be a leader on your team and be like, what? No, we're going to the paint. Everybody started settling for threes. There's no reason we should have took 53 pointers in this game. You shouldn't have. You shouldn't have. It's terrible in the execution that this team had today. Downright disgusting. Shay says, Haize, I know White was terrible, but this is his first actual terrible game. Still not an excuse, but I could at least excuse it. I mean, yes, it is his first terrible game. He's had some rocky shooting stretches, but this is the first game where I looked at Kobe and I was just like, hey, bro, like, why are you playing so soft? Like, Kobe played soft today. The Bulls as a whole played very soft today. I want to be clear with that. Correct. You said lazy, Haize. So they need to trade someone on the roster, just like Jerry Krause did, trading Oakley, the best friend of MJ, for big man Cartwright. I remember MJ is so mad at the time. Yeah, but the difference is that team had championship caliber players on it. This team doesn't. I'm sorry. Like, I love Josh Giddey. I love Kobe. I hope that they stay here. But we don't have players that have the championship mindset yet, right? So I'm not saying that the Bulls may not need to make a trade, but, man, this was just bad, bro. The scouting report is out on Giddey. But this wasn't about the scouting report. This was Giddey being timid. This was Giddey settling for bad shots. You can say what you want, but when Giddey decided to go to the paint, they still couldn't stop him. And that's the thing that's so disappointing about it, is the fact that it's the combination of the timidness. I don't care that the scouting report is out, because the way that Josh Giddey plays basketball, the scouting report is just like the scouting reports out on DeMar DeRozan. Guess what? He still does what he does, and he's done it for damn near 15 years, right? But it's him settling and not being aggressive. We do not have the level of skill. We do not have the level of players to where that we cannot play with the most heart every single night. This has to be a team that plays with the most heart every single night. Period. I don't care who the fucking opponent is. And when you don't do that, you're going to get losses like this one. How the hell the Chicago Bulls going from playing with the dog in them at the beginning of the season to now playing with the cat in them? Chicago Bulls is gone. They need to find it. Man, listen. Playing with the cat in them. That pussy. It is what it is, man. Jeremy Mons, these are the same chat bitches and complain about Vooch every game. Now they wish they're with Jalen Smith and Pat Williams. And see, and that's the thing that it comes down to. Like, Vooch, and I've said this many times, Vooch is still needed until you get a starting caliber center. That just is what it is. That's not to say that people's concerns and frustrations with Vooch aren't valid. They are. But until you have a starting caliber center, Jalen Smith is not that. P. Will definitely ain't fucking that, right? Zach Collins can do a little bit of it, but I wouldn't want him to be a permanent starting center either. Until you have that, Vooch is going to probably still be on this team, bro. Probably going to still be on this team, and that's fine. But you got to go out there and find your center of the future. This team is an embarrassment, poorly coached, lacking effort. We are who we thought we were. Pathetic effort. We need a star center. Well, I really don't think you need a star center. I think a Walker Kessler would change this team drastically. I think that a Mark Williams, if he's able to stay healthy, would drastically change the center because it's the stylistically thing. It's the style. It's the scheme, the way that you can play them. That's what it doesn't have to be a star, but it does need to be a solid, sound defensive center that can at least catch lobs and stays active. That's what we're looking for. Another fucking frustrating point to Pat's crash out after the Blazers game on Locked on Bulls about. See, Melvin, bro, just say what you got to say, bro. All this prefacing, not addressing much needed tall center's depth who can rebound and play defense for a while hits home. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely there, and it's definitely been a problem with this one. Matthew, 2 notes. Patrick Williams can't rebound or dribble. We already knew that. I think Billy is gone if this defense continues to play as bad, as well as the inability to Billy Donovan. I'll tell you that. That's hopeful thinking, Matthew. Billy Donovan isn't going anywhere. And I'm not saying you're wrong for feeling that the way that you feel. But this front office, I've said this before, I don't think this front office moves off of Billy until they feel that they have a near championship roster. Because then at that point, they got to wake up and say, it's not the roster, it's Billy. As long as this team is missing rim protection, as long as they're missing size, as long as they're missing some point of attack defense, as long as they're missing these things, AK is going to keep saying, oh, we just got to add that and Billy would be good. Billy ain't going nowhere, bro. This team is an embarrassment. I just read that one. Did you leave that comment multiple times? I hate when y'all do that. Stop leaving the same comment multiple times. I'm going to get to it. I promise you. You ain't got to leave the same comment multiple times. Hear me out. Kobe being back has changed his lineup a lot. Have we won much with him? We're 2-2 with Kobe White in the lineup. So we're at 500. Exactly where we were before Kobe White came back. You got to keep in mind he hasn't played every single game. Y'all be so busy trying to look for a take that y'all don't really pay attention to the facts. We're 500. We've won 2 games. We lost 2 games with Kobe. And only one of those games did Kobe White play terrible, and that was this game. I want to make a fat joke about Zion playing in Smoothie King Stadium, but now I'm not in the mood. That's fucking hilarious. That is hilarious. Yeah, man, they are lazy. That's a wild thing. We were sold that they were going to outrun the rest. See, and that's the thing. When this team plays with the heart and effort consistently, I truly feel they can beat anybody. Now, I'm not saying that means they're a championship team, but I truly feel that they can compete with anybody when they lock in and play with the heart. Unfortunately, it's like after that 5-game losing streak, we haven't ever really recaptured that energy that we had before. And I get it. It's hard to recapture energy from a 5-game winning streak to start off the season. But like, damn, did you lose all of your identity through those 5 losses? Did you lose every single shred of it? Because all that connectivity, all that toughness that we saw, all that, hey, we're going to trust the execution down the stretch of the game. We're going to attack. We're going to get to the free throw line. All that shit's gone. And it just raises some serious questions on what's happening with this team. We shot just one shot from outside the paint that wasn't a three. Why would any team give us space at the rim? Not to excuse Billy Donovan's small ball plans at times, but if I'm Billy Donovan, I'm going to Arturas' office and say, enough with the bullshit. Give me some damn length this offseason, no Diddy. First of all, I wasn't even thinking that. Maybe it's just because I'm this team frustrated me today. But the no Diddy at the end of that sold that comment. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong. At the end of the day, there's no accountability for lack of defense being played. Can't expect to win with poor effort defensively. I mean, listen, we've seen some very bad teams win like damn near 50 games, but you have to be so sound offensively, right? So, like, here's the thing. We don't have the roster to where I expect to be elite defensively, right? We just don't have that roster. But you're right in the sense that so much of defense is effort. So, like, if you're not willing to give the effort on the defensive side of the ball, then that's just it. You can't resign yourself to almost like it was too many times where the ball will move around and you see the Chicago Bulls just be like, oh, well, he got this open three. Let's hope he misses it. You can't do that. You can't do that. Living and dying from three. Exactly. You cannot live and die by the three. We aren't that good enough of a three-point shooting team to live and die by the three. We're just not that team. We're not that team. Kobe would play better if they had him just play off Josh Giddey and have the team actually give him space to work with. No, that's not who Kobe White is. Kobe White isn't this off-ball scorer. Like, he's going to need the ball in his hands. But what Kobe White's failing at is that he's settling for the three too much. Kobe White is always best when he drives. That's where his strength is. Kobe White isn't this three-point shooter that people try to make him out to be. Like, he has to create off driving. And then he gets hot from three, right? It's much like with Vooch. What do we say about Vooch all the time? Get a couple of buckets in the paint, and then Vooch starts knocking down the three. Kobe White got to drive. He got to get to the rim. He got to do those type of things. Then he starts getting hot from three. This is one of those non-sexy humiliation rituals. That is hilarious. Sometimes I'm thinking, is this really Josh Giddey's team now? I mean, I think it has to be right now, right? But, you know, it's just, man, it's frustrating. It's really frustrating. Detroit is an athletic team that rebounds and plays defense. The Bulls need to improve in these areas. They shoot too many threes and they don't get any easy shots. You know what? That is a great point. No easy. You know what also that we stopped doing that I got away from ranting about is why don't we move without the ball? I get it. This is something that I've been ranting about for 5 years now since I started this show. But the fact that we don't consistently move without the ball, when you don't have this amazing half-court offense, what you need to do is you need to move consistently off the ball to get yourself in position, to get yourself easy shots, to get yourself in rhythm. And we just don't do that. Io's the only player that does it consistently on this whole entire team. Whole entire team. Now, I'm going to pause for a second from ranting. We are 2 subs away from being at 26,800 subs. We have a goal of getting to 30,000 subs by the end of the season. If the Bulls keep playing like this, it ain't going to happen. But I know at least 2 of y'all in the chat right now are not subscribed to the channel. Check. A lot of people think they're subscribed because I post every day and I'm always in everybody's algorithm. But check if you're actually subscribed to the channel. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Help your boy grow because, hey, the Chicago Bulls definitely ain't helping shit around here not playing like this. So hit that sub button. All right, let's get back into the show. Haize, have you noticed that the defense was much better with Jones in the lineup next to Giddey? I don't think it started off better, but I think it kind of tapered off there towards the end there. I think we're still a better overall better defensive team for sure with Trey Jones in the lineup, but you know it is what it is. You give and take. Why are some of our players been in the league for so a while and still forgetting to box out? Do they practice this even though it doesn't need practicing really? I mean, listen, you gotta box out. You shouldn't have to practice boxing out. Boxing out is basketball fundamentals. Now, if you notice that your team is missing it, you have to do it. But, you know, it is what it is. let's keep it real. Until fans stop going to games and stop buying merch, the front office ain't doing nothing. All they care about is money. Again, the front office doesn't care about money because most of that money doesn't go into their pockets. They still get paid their salary. The ownership does, but the ownership doesn't run the day-to-day. AK does. Everybody who says to stop going to games and stop buying, I need y'all to understand how licensing works, first of all. The NBA gets paid a licensing fee for their licenses. Now, of course, the NBA teams get a portion of that, but because the licensees are creating the merch, they're creating the designs, all that type of stuff, a very small portion of merch sales actually go to the team. So that's the first thing. As far as ticket sales, you got to keep in mind with this as well. The Bulls, it took, I think 3 straight years of the Bulls declining before the front office did anything. And even then, they only moved off of Pax because John Paxson went to the ownership and said, hey, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. So, like, when you have an ownership group that is this detached from the day-to-day with the team, those things only do so much. They only do so much. Haize, can you look this up? Because I really think the Bulls are not playing at the same pace. Are not playing at the same pace? Hold on, let's take a look at that. Let's see. I can find that pretty easily, so I'll look it up right now. Give me 1 second. Let's see what the pace the Bulls are playing at. No, the Bulls pace, let's see, 3-2. So the last 5 games, the pace is basically the exact same. It's very marginal changes. Our pace is really the same. The thing that's changed the most for the Bulls from the first 5 games to now is our defense. We were still a top 12 defense in the league through the first 8 games of the season. Since then, we've been 26th ranked in defensive rating. That's really what's hurting the Bulls right now. And we're also been 30th in rebound percentage over the last 5 games, which is the bottom of the league. We were one of the best rebounding teams in basketball to start off the season. So rebounding and defense has hurt us more than pace has, if that makes sense, Big D's. But great question. Great question. I feel like that was a fair question to want to know, but it doesn't seem like pace has dropped off maybe as much as it feels like. But it has dropped off some. So you're still right that the pace has dropped a little bit for sure. It's just not a huge margin that it's dropped off by, if that makes sense. We got all that size. We got Noah and the other rookie. Why would we start P. Will at center? Just dumb. Well, I mean, you got to keep in mind, Lachlan Albrook is 6'8", so it's not like he has a lot of size. Noah Essengate definitely isn't ready to start. I think you've seen that now looking at him. So I can't say that he's ready to start either. I don't know why they didn't start Jalen is my question. I don't know why they didn't start Jalen. But, hey. Chicago's the 3rd biggest city in the country, and they're not much to do in the winter. You'll never drop the attendance down enough to matter. Most people in the stands watch a third of the game. Yeah, I mean, and then you got to think, too, like a lot of people in the stands also, like corporate seats are sold and stuff like that. So that's another great point. Great point there. Help your boy grow. Definitely needs to be followed up with a no Diddy. First of all, that is crazy is what that is. That's wild. They look lazy and unmotivated out there. They made mistakes. I mean, listen, mistakes are going to happen, right? But I think the thing is not just the Bulls are making mistakes. The Bulls aren't doing the simple things that add to winning basketball. They're just not doing the simple things. So, yeah, there are definitely mistakes being made out there. There are definitely things that the Bulls, aren't doing. But, like, every team makes some mistakes. It's also the fact that, like, the Bulls are the self-inflicted wounds. And self-inflicted wounds in the NBA, turnovers are self-inflicted wounds a lot of times. But then also bailing out the defense by taking early shots in the shot clock before you run any type of action at all. If I'm Billy Donovan, I'm saying we need to make 3 passes and 3 cuts before we take a shot. Like fuck all that, man. In fact, I'm okay if the pace drops some if you're doing that. Because this team is settling for bad shots way too often, and it's bailing the defense out. The self-inflicted wounds. You got to stop that. You got to stop that. Haize, do you still see this team as a 45 to 50 win team? No. Listen, I still think that they can finish the season maybe at 41, 42-ish wins, which puts them at slightly above 500. But the way that this team's playing right now, no, I don't anymore. And that's an unfortunate part of all this, because no, I can't with a fair basketball mind say that I see this team winning 45 games anymore. I can't see it. Now, if they correct it once they get everybody healthy and start, getting back into things, maybe they can get back up to that. But right now, no, bro, I can't say that. Why has there been such a huge contrast in how the Bulls have approached games against weaker opposition compared to the playoff teams? Because this team has no standard, bro. They have no standard. And that's what affects those type of things. When you don't have a level of play. Like the really good teams in the NBA, it's like, this is their floor, right? And this is probably their ceiling. And they live somewhere between that. The problem with the Chicago Bulls is that they don't have a floor. I mean, they don't have a ceiling either, which is good, but they don't have a floor, right? There's not a baseline of, hey, the Bulls may fuck up. They may even lose some games that they shouldn't, but at least they're going to perform at this level. We haven't established that. The Bulls can be at a floor really, really good. They can look like one of the worst teams in the NBA. They have established no floor. And that's the thing that just really hurts a team, and that's why it's so hard to bet on a team day in and day out. Like I said, they're in this, and I kept saying easy stretch, right? Anybody who watches me every day will tell you I never went into this being like, oh, yeah, it's an easy stretch. The Bulls are going to come out of it good. I always said easy stretch, or, hey, what they're supposed to do, or, hey, hopefully they're able to do X. But they rarely are, because the Bulls don't have a baseline of expectation and style of play that you can bet on day in and day out. Who the fuck told Giddey he was a spot-up shooter? His skills? Because Giddey's been a damn good spot-up shooter this season. But the last couple of games have not been what Josh Giddey has been the last one. 3 passes and 3 cuts sound. Like, I'm telling you, 3 passes, 3 cuts. After we see 3 passes, 3 cuts, take your shot. Because then at that point, you've moved the defense around. The whole point of ball movement and off-ball movement is to manipulate the defense so that as players move and the ball moves, you create a seam, whether that seam is for an open jumper or that seam is to get to the rim, right? That is the intention of off-ball and on-ball movement. And when you combine those two things, you really get a very fluid offense, and it keeps the defense rotating. Unfortunately, the Bulls do this thing where they get to the half court and they stop and they look around. They may do a pass, but then by that second pass, somebody's taking an off-balance three-point shot. What the fuck? There's no reason why my fat ass at my house, in my studio that I built with my hands, should be able to identify this, and Billy Bubblegum fucking Donovan is sitting there like, hey, Haize, what you said? Was that off-ball movement? Yeah, you fucking fuck. Yeah, off-ball movement. That is the problem here. If I was the coach of the Chicago Bulls, I legitimately would be like, I would be stopping practice. If we have practice and somebody is standing their bitch ass in the corner, I'm stopping practice and I'm looking at you dead in your face and be like, what the fuck are you doing? What do you mean, coach? Why are you standing still? Oh, I was watching them. Exactly. You're watching the play. When you're watching the play, it means you're not part of the play, right? You should not be watching the play. Watch the ball, watch the defense, but don't watch the fucking play. It's very simple. If you're watching the play, you're a fucking spectator. You're doing the same shit I'm doing at home. Don't watch the play. Be a part of the fucking play. Meaning, watch the ball, watch the defense, and then where the ball is going, where the defense is going, let that inform how you're going to cut and how you're going to move. Don't sit your bitch ass at the three-point line and be like, what the fuck are you doing? You sitting there looking like a fucking dripping coochie. You're not doing shit. You're not serving nothing. Move. Move, bitch. Get out the way. Like, literally. It's not that basketball, I promise you, is very simple. The thought processes of basketball, the philosophies of every great offense are all built off the same bones. You then take that and then you add wrinkles to that based off the skill set of your players, and that's how you get a system. The Bulls don't have that right now. Move. Literally, everybody Move. And that's what I don't understand why this team can't do it. Move. That's it. Move. Nobody should be standing still at any point in time. Billy Donovan said that we are the best conditioned team in the league. I wish I could see it because we keep moving without the ball. We're not doing that. So that's my rant. I know that this has been a more kind of ranty post-game show, and I apologize for that. I usually like to provide more structure to my post-game shows, but I'm tired of it. So let's see what the Bulls do. This is still an easier stretch for the Bulls. Hopefully this is a wake-up call for what they have, because right now this team was playing like ass. Playing like ass. And it's smelling real funky in this bitch. But that is my time for today, y'all. I got to get ready to go do Locked On Bulls. Make sure you guys are following us at Bulls Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. BullsCentralPod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, but that is thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See red if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.